Come and play with us, Daddy. Forever and ever and ever.
From Danny Torrance and Stanley Kubrick's The Shining to Damien and Richard Donner's The Omen, many classic horror films prominently feature children in their storylines. Youngsters are already a handful, but films often employ supernatural mini mischief makers to heighten the fright factor. These little tykes are either wreaking havoc on everything in their path, terrorizing their parents, or battling the forces of evil themselves. Before you head out the door for some trick-or-treating, here are 5 psychological horror films starring creepy kids to revisit and get you in the Halloween spirit. Number 5, Village of the Damned. Glowing red eyes, unblinking death stares, and perfectly symmetrical platinum blonde coiffures are just some of the elements that heighten the creepy kid factor in John Carpenter's underrated 1995 film. After rural townsfolk are suddenly placed into mass stasis, a pregnancy outbreak follows. As a result, the local women unknowingly birth alien babies who appear human. Chaos soon ensues as the children grow unusually fast and begin to display increasingly disturbing behavior. Their supernatural origin comes with knowledge beyond their years and emotional detachment.
Emotion is irrelevant. It is not our nature.
Which allows them to easily outsmart the grown-ups and kill without hesitation. And as with any good invasion movie, these extraterrestrials set their superpowers on world domination, beginning with their mothers and fathers.
So the question becomes, should you be allowed to live?
As the film develops, it is evident that the adults are no match for the children and the unearthly force living inside them. Number 4, Pet Sematary. No creepy kid horror list would be complete without a movie based on a Stephen King novel. Mary Lambert's 1989 film, which was also written by and features Mr. King, shamelessly exploits the Indian burial ground cliché. The Creed family relocates to a small town in Maine, near sacred Mi'kmaq land, which according to legend harnesses supernatural forces to reanimate the deceased. However, there are dire consequences to bringing back the dead. Malevolent spirits now inhabit their corpses. It's no surprise that the desperate Dr. Creed, who let his children play next to oddly busy country roads, ignores sound advice and reburies his recently deceased son on ritual ground. Hence, a sinister version of the once sweet Gage comes back vengeful and bloodthirsty, determined to punish those responsible for tampering with death.
I'm glad to something, Mommy.
Number 3, The Devil's Backbone. Directed by Guillermo del Toro, this horror film is set in a crumbling boys' orphanage during the Spanish Civil War. The depiction of child spirits draws on both their visual creep factor and plot device to convey that buried secrets can come back to haunt you. The movie centers around Carlos, who soon realizes that life in the orphanage isn't easy, and he, along with the other forgotten children, must find the strength to battle oppressive adults. The film's supernatural aspect is driven by the ghost of a boy named Santi, who, in a turn of expectations, aims to protect the other orphans rather than haunt them. The child spirit's creepy facade fades into a visage of tragedy when he aims his wrath toward those responsible for his murder. Both terrifying and heartwarming, The Devil's Backbone incorporates themes of friendship and survival under the chaotic surroundings of political violence. Number 2, The Orphanage. The second haunted orphanage feature on this list is also set in Spain, although in a more contemporary time frame. J.A. Bayona's directorial debut has plenty of creepy kid elements to live up to its title. The ghostly story focuses on Laura and her adopted son, Simon, who journey back to the orphanage where Laura was raised. But her plans of renovating the dilapidated shelter soon crumble when Simon unexpectedly turns up missing following his interactions with local spirits. Unsettling occurrences, eerie atmosphere, and ghosts build a sense of dread in the orphanage, as Laura's desperate attempts to find Simon lead her to uncover a sinister secret in the organization's past. Apparitions of children in macabre masks, on the other hand, are the things of nightmares. Number 1, Children of the Corn. There's no shortage of creepy kids in the original installment of its namesake franchise, unsurprisingly, also based on a Stephen King story. Like all great child horror settings, its isolated location provides the perfect context for minors to run amok. The appropriately titled film centers on a religious cult of children who assume control of a farming borough in Nebraska and sacrifice adults to a malevolent entity called He Who Walks Behind the Rose. While Children of the Corn plays on predictable tropes of fear of the unknown and evil redheads, what really frightens us is that children take on the characteristics of the worst versions of overzealous adults.
The final test.
Do you have a favorite psychological horror film with creepy kids in the storyline? Tell us about your favorite creepy kid character. And if you liked this video, hit that subscribe button to be notified of upcoming episodes. Thank you for watching and happy Halloween!